Welcome, guys. You are here for episode number 6 for the Fret Talk podcast. You are here with your host, Budget Pedal Chap. You've also got 2 very awesome guests today. We have got. Do you want to start with Gav?
Hi, I'm Gavin Downey. I'm ex-touring guitar tech and production manager for Live Nation. And also Ollie. Shall I introduce Ollie?
Yeah, you introduce him, yeah. You sound like you're
Ollie,
more professional about it than he is, so come on.
Yeah. Also joining me today is Ollie, my good friend Ollie.
Hello.
Awesome.
Student and general long-haired person.
Indeed. We are generally battling in the hair length and beard length, aren't we?
I think, am I winning on hair length, but you're winning on beard?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
You guys are such hipsters. This is a hidden hipster podcast.
It is, yeah.
You should be talking about beard cream.
I do
beard
actually,
oil, please.
I've got oil. I've got beard wax. I've got all of it.
I just oil for me.
Oh dear, we've degenerated already.
Yeah.
Right, let's kick it off. Gav.
Was that like a minute?
yeah, probably about that. Gav, who are you? Who are you?
Okay, I'm a New Zealand-based, recently, what would be the word? Not retired. I'm just taking a hiatus. Guitar tech and production manager.
Uh-huh.
I spent the past 17 years touring New Zealand and the globe with a number of various acts, working as their guitar tech, stage manager, and production manager. So originally a lot of guitar duties, and then I shifted over into the production side. I've toured with bands. I'm trying to think of who I've toured with: the Cranberries, Wiz Khalifa. Strung Out, Death by Stereo, Atreyu, The Shins. I'm trying to think. I've done a bunch of shows for George Clinton, Sharon Jones and the Dap King. The list is quite long, so it's hard to remember off the top of my head in the morning.
Well, I mean, I've heard of at least 3 of those artists, and I haven't listened to a radio in about probably 15 years, so, I mean, they must be big.
Yeah. So some of the bands are a lot bigger than others, but yeah. I've done shows for everything from 9 people to 90,000 people. Well, yeah, 130,000 is the top amount of crowd I've done a show into.
So I mean,
a show that I put on.
Where most of us are trying to profess to be legitimate professionals, you actually are pretty much a legitimate.
I was legitimate in the sense that I got paid a little bit of money to do it, but obviously not enough to sustain a lifestyle in New Zealand. Not any kind of lifestyle. So at the moment, I've just transitioned into the corporate world, doing production for a PR company, and just basically just doing that for the time being. And then I'm going to look to dabble back into the music industry, where I can pick and choose the tours and events I want to work on.
Absolutely awesome stuff.
As well as I still keep a guitar repair shop kind of up from wherever I am.
Cool.
So I currently have half a dozen guitars from a big New Zealand band called 660, which I've got to repair today and get ready for their tour.
And we're taking a good hour out of that, so...
it's good. It's my first day off in about 3 weeks, so it's good.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Right, so... I'm just blown away by your CV. I'm just gonna kind of fanboy over you all episode, but so what got you into guitar and kind of the industry and all of that jazz?
Funnily enough, I didn't ever want to be a guitar player. I wanted to be a singer for some reason. I think because I had no musical talent whatsoever. I was kicked out of my music class. I was just terrible. Couldn't really learn music very well.
Yeah.
Had no real kind of enthusiasm for the classics. And I wanted to be a singer, but I spoke to a drummer in my brother's band who was a musician, who told me that to be a good singer, you should learn an instrument so you would understand when the other musicians are talking to you about music and tune, you would understand it. So I started to learn guitar, and I just kind of fell in love with it. And I left school starting a chef's apprenticeship, which was my first love, but got a job in a guitar shop in the same week and ditched the chef's apprenticeship and started working in a guitar shop. So I went from there. I learning guitar repair in the shop, learned a lot of, sort of history of gear. There was also a recording studio attached to it, so I spent my days in the guitar shop, my nights in the recording studio, learning engineering and different parts of that sort of aspect of it. I started teching for local bands. I did everything. I started making custom guitar straps for a big New Zealand touring band, because no one in New Zealand back then could get really long guitar straps. So I kind of turned my hand to anything just to try and learn as much as I could. And then from there, I started playing in my own bands, signed some bad record deals, made some questionable CDs, did some rather forgettable tours, did some unforgettable tours, got in some very unforgettable fights, broke up bands, all that kind of stuff, as you generally do when you're young. And then I realized there was no money in New Zealand being in bands, so I decided I would go to work on the other side of the industry, and I started guitar teching. And luckily enough, from teching for a couple of big New Zealand bands, the word got around, and I basically was teching for sort of 90% of all of the biggest touring bands in New Zealand at the time. So it was kind of good. So I was kind of in work, enjoying it and loving it.
Massive stuff.
And guitar playing became more of a hobby and something I was doing. I sort of hadn't played. I don't think I've probably honestly played seriously in my own bands while I was touring for other people. Just the time restraints was different, and I had a covers band with my brother for a while, and I think we played once a year at Christmas, and that was fun. I think it was more for the fun of, a bunch of guys jamming in a room than doing any big tours, because once you work in the music industry, you kind of see all the good side and the bad side, so you're not quite as enthusiastic to play for 3 weeks on the road in a smelly van to make no money. Not the people shouldn't do that. It's a great way to do it if you want to, if you want to do that. It's nothing beats that. But yeah, the guys I was playing with were not in that sort of level of wanting to do that. So we just did occasional gigs.
Fantastic stuff. Fantastic. I mean, you've just got like a back catalogue of experience as long as my arm. So I mean, we're gonna pick your brain up on that a bit later on, and just some kind of pro tips from you. But let's kind of get it back to the gear. So what's your gear of today? What are you rocking?
My gear of today, okay. My go-to gear. I love saying that. My go-to gear, even though it's just generally playing at home or having a jam with some friends, is a Gretsch 6118 reissue. Which is a little bit modified, a Fender Jazzmaster, which is heavily modified, I am a Cure fanboy, so I totally modded my Jazzmaster to be a replica of Robert Smith's early Jazzmaster, with the third Tiesto pickup and the custom-made string buzz modification and things. So that's that. I've got, what else have I got? Fender Bass 6 that I bought, again because I'm a Cure fan. So yeah, I bought a Fender Bass, an old one, so I've got that. A couple of an ESP Fender Strat, a recent edition. I got, this isn't name dropping, but this, I had a really nice kind of birthday gift from Billy Gibbons last year. He sent me out a Gretsch White Falcon acoustic, so that was a nice addition. I didn't, I was going to buy one. I hit him up because I know he's a Gretsch endorsee, so I hit him up to see if I could get mates rates, and he said, look, I've got to get a acoustic for a session in the studio, so I'll get it from Gretsch and use it and then send it to you. So I was like, I don't mind that at all.
Top man. Billy Gibbons.
So I've been really lucky to call him a friend over the years, so I've known him now for almost 20 years. So, and I've got like 2 guitars from him. I've got 3 guitars from him. I've got a Fernandez Sustainer that he sent me. Oh, this must be 1999, maybe 2000. Which was he was a Sustainiac endorsee, or still is, and they'd sent him a guitar, like a sort of a one-off custom shop thing they'd sent him, and he was like, I don't need any more guitars, so I'm sending it to you. So he just sent it to me. I think it was, So those are my kind of go-to. I have a
Let's talk about the amp. Yes.
I have a Supro Thunderbolt Plus, which is amazing, which is my baby, it's kind of weird, like, because I've worked in the music industry a long time, all my life pretty much, but I've never had very good gear. I've either been playing and been broke, or been kind of just in a position where there's no way I could sustain spending the kind of money I have today, more recently on things. Or not. I mean, the amp's the first amp I bought. It's been expensive, and
it was quite a recent addition as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was early last year. Yeah, I was in the digital realm for a while because I'd got a XFX2 from a tour, and I was running digital, so I had that at home, and then I just kind of decided I wasn't using the XFX till it's full, and I sway with a lot of gear. Like if I find if I have suddenly a bunch of stuff I'm not using, it's no use to me, so I sell it or give it away or do something with it. So the XFX was like that in that position. So I sold the XFX and bought the Supro because I just wanted something I could just plug in, play.
Yeah.
And just do that with, but and I thought it was that time in my life that I should treat myself to a nice tube amp. So that's my go-to amp. And I have a pedal board with a bunch of. I got into the DIY pedal kind of buzz for the past couple of years, so I've built a bunch of clone pedals and bought a couple of things that I just always wanted. Bought the T-Rex Mudhoney. I bought a Pigtronics Fat Drive, which I really like the sound of. But it's mostly all overdrive pedals. It's really I look at the board and I wonder why. It's ridiculously stupid. If anyone knew what I did and looked at my gear, they would probably not believe I did what I did. But yeah, it's mostly delay, mostly drives with a cheap delay, and I think it's got a cheap crappy flanger or something on there. And I also have a Jazz Chorus 120, an old 1980s, so I run the 2 amps in stereo with the Jazz Chorus running just a clean signal and the Supro running with my effects.
So two quick questions that have come from that. Number one, this kind of snowballs off of last week. You don't have reverb, but you have delay, correct?
I have reverb in the amp.
Oh.
The amp has a Accutronic spring reverb, and I don't run any reverb. I've got a really nice pedal I really love. Probably one of my favorite pedals of all time is the Mr. Black Deluxe Plus, I think it's called, and it's an old Fender style tremolo and reverb all in one, a spring reverb, and it's got a really nice splash. So the original version you couldn't turn on independently the reverb or the tremolo, so you kind of had to set them both, and when you turned them on it went. They've done a new one which has 2 switches, but that has an amazing reverb. So before I had the Supro, I had a bunch of different little amps that I would use a reverb on that, but I'm finding I just like the reverb in the Supro. It just sits in the right position in the chain of the signal path in the amp. So
yeah, I don't know if you heard last week, me and Matt Quine having a little scuffle about reverb versus delay.
Oh, they're 2 totally different effects. You couldn't even say they're the same. I mean, you could say they're the same color of effect, but I don't think they have the same effect at all. I use a lot of delay with a lot of my playing, but reverb I will add because I can add a texture above the delay, and I can decide whether I can delay the reverb or I can reverb the delay, and by changing those a lot, it's amazing. Like even with my Supro, the Supro's designed unlike normal amps where the reverb is before the tremolo, so it's a totally different effect than like all the Fenders, which has the tremolo feeding into the reverb. So just by having that effect in as well, it's a really weird, swelly, very kind of dark, kind of ambient sort of a tone when you use the inbuilt tremolo on that as well. So I think reverb is a standalone pedal, and it's you can use it in so many different places. Just by shifting it around your pedal chain is amazing.
I think you've just stopped the argument there between me and Matt.
1 point, Downey.
So that's it. Yeah, you're like the United Nations of the Fret Talk world. So very quickly, also before I forget, you've had both the Axe-Fx and the quote
tube amps.
Real amp. How do you find they compare?
Very favourable in the live situation. Exactly the same. Yeah, I've toured with bands that have just had digital rigs. I've toured with bands that have just had tube rigs. I've toured with bands that have had both. I've toured with bands that don't own their own gear and hire gear every different city. And I've toured with bands that used to do that switched to digital. So, and if it's like anything, if I give you an amp you've never seen before,
Mhm.
and you had no idea what the buttons did or how to get to the tone if it had nothing written on the front, you'd have to spend some time tweaking things to get it sounding right. Digital gear is the same. Generally, I find when any kind of thing, I used to find it a lot with when people would buy multi-effects pedals.
Yeah.
Every preset that comes with it is just a display of the most amount of things it can do, and none of them are ever usable.
No.
So you actually have to stop, take all the things off, take the weird pitchy shift things off, and start again and make a sound from scratch. Digital gear is very similar to that. A lot of their presets can be designed with one big picture at the end in mind, and it may not be what you want to get to. So if you start taking things off and start from scratch, you can make really killer rigs. I've designed a lot of stuff for people live and in the studio, and it's so nice to be able to just have a huge plethora of gear on hand to suddenly go, we're changing the set list, we need to do this old song, I used to play this, or I used to use an acoustic, or I had this effect, and we can just do it and design it. I spent some time on tour, and we went to Germany, and we went to Hansa studio in Berlin, and we were excited because they had a whole list of really good old vintage tube gear, amp gear. Every amp there except for the Jazz Chorus buzzed and made so much noise we couldn't use it in the recording, but we had the Axe-Fx there, so we pulled that up, and I emulated every amp that we saw in the studio we liked into the virtual world and used those on all the tracks, and you could not tell at the end of it which was which. There's always going to be people that say, I can tell the difference, or it's not as dynamic, but that's just what people hear and people say. You can't make an opinion on something if you've never played one. And I think people just have this misnomer that everything digital today sounds like a Line 6 pod from 15 years ago. Which it didn't. The old pods were terrible, but we toured with those as well, and a really good engineer could tweak those to sound passable. I used to tour with a band called Goldfinger, and we had the Line 6 pods,
Goldfinger?
and I was like, this is terrible, this is not real, but I went out the front and it sounded amazing. I was like, this is kind of crazy, and it was so good I bought one in Australia on tour just to go home, but I got it home and it sounded naff. So
I mean,
it's lots of things.
There was a little bit of a kick up on one of the forums that we're all part of this week about that, weren't there? Actually,
I saw that someone shared that,
and they very much did sit within your crosshairs, didn't they?
It's just, I've had this argument, I've had the discussion and the argument and the rant with so many people, and it's like, it really is ridiculous about how many people think, albums were just recorded with this, bands are just toured with this. They go see a huge massive concert and they see a line of amps on stage, and they don't know that right on the left hand side is an Axe-Fx or a Kemper or something, and bands change over. It's anything you use as a musician is a tool. Unless you physically build it yourself, it's a tool. It's something you use to make a sound, to either to get your songs out or to make some money as a living. It's the same as a builder owns tools, So you might own a multi-tool that does lots of things, or you might own 6 different things. So digital world has just made musicianship a bit easier because you have a lot more gear on tap, and if you're traveling, you don't have to have a car full of gear. You can just have one piece in your overnight luggage, basically. And for the touring world, it's totally been embraced, and there's a lot less people in the professional music market that are against it than in the sort of the, I'd say that, I don't want to use amateur because that's not a word, but the non-professional touring market. There seems to be more divided opinions in the hobbyist world than there is in the touring world. Touring guitarists are like, I'll use whatever it takes to get the job done tonight. That's the reason that if the amp blows up, they can just take anything else and just borrow this, take this and play it. And, and it is true that a lot of your tone and dynamics are in your fingers. A lot of people say they're not dynamic, but that's just how you play. I mean, I'm a really, really bad, sloppy player, and I can make an Axe-Fx sound terrible. I can give it to a friend of mine who is a really amazing player who can make it sound amazing. It's the same preset, the same patch. It doesn't matter, It's but people are just stuck in their ways.
I think a lot of it is people trying to justify their purchases.
Well, I think Yeah, I mean, but it's the weirdest thing of all, which I bring back to people, which people go, oh, no, don't like. People go on about this whole, the virtualness of it, the digital, it's not real, it's not real, and then you look at their pedal boards and they have digital delay pedals. It's
Yeah.
like that's not a real delay. A real delay should have a reel-to-reel tape with a signal running at different speeds, recording it and playing it back. And they're like, well, it's like that's different. It's
Yeah.
like no, it's not different. Like an overdrive pedal is an emulation of what a tube does when it's
Yeah, when it's
saturated
crapping, yeah.
past the point of its usability. So all of those pedal things on a pedal board, even if they say they're analog, they're emulating something. So for people to say that an Axifex or a Kemper is wrong or it's stupid and you should only have tube amps, but then push a whole bunch of pedals into it, it's just so hypocritical. And that's when, as soon as I see that, I just kind of think, you're just a muppet. You don't know what you're talking about. So,
Yeah,
if I have the energy, I'll just try and destroy them with logic, but half the time, they don't listen.
There's no logic that can that can turn the minds around of these people, though. They've already set in
No,
their
but
ways.
sometimes the argument and the fight is so enjoyable.
Yeah, I had great pleasure in replying to that one guy, that comment. I never got anything back, but my comment got about 10 likes on it, I think, from
Yeah.
people. Because, ironically, that night where I saw that comment, the original comment was something along the lines of, digital sounds great in the studio, but it's not as dynamic and the audience can tell live,
Yeah.
which was
Yeah,
ridiculous.
so,
Oh.
no,
And that
totally wrong.
that night, I was playing through a bunch of Plexi profiles. I just bought an AC/DC profile pack, so like the JTM 45 sort of on breakup, and it was the most dynamic thing I've ever played. If I didn't hit a note quite right, it was quite clean. If it was whatever, but if I hammered into it, it got all this drive and
Exactly.
low end.
Exactly. The
But if
biggest difference is... Okay, sorry, keep going.
Yeah, but it was like if I rolled the volume back or if I hit lighter, it cleaned up beautifully. So people who say the dynamics aren't there haven't played it. They need to play it to understand what it's like.
Yeah. It all comes down to the interprocessing power. Modern digital gear is running a lot more processing power behind it than the early digital parts had. If you look inside a Kemper and XFX, it is looking like it's like looking inside a power tower PC. Whereas the old XFXs were, maybe one or two chips, and they had to deal with a lot of algorithms and sort of, equations to make a guitar sound like a Mesa Boogie or a Fender Twin with a reverb and a tremolo, inside the smaller amount of processing power. It's like a calculator versus a MacBook Pro, whereas modern digital guitar gear is running so many good high-powered processors that it doesn't have to put so much effort into one or two parts of the unit. So I know like the XFX has got a dual processing unit, so it allows it to process really heavily aspects and like the dynamic range and how the virtual tubes would react. So they can code all this dynamic range in, because all it is at the end of the day is telling the computer, if you're getting a quiet input signal, do this at the other end, whether it's turn this varied amount up, make it more distorted, less distorted. If there's a louder input signal, make it more distorted, more gainy, more trebly, more compressed. It's just coding, and as long as the processor can handle that amount of coding and information it's dealing with, then it can do anything. Did you look at digital desks? That's what I bring people back to, and I'm like, digital desks have had digital reverbs, digital things forever, and they sound great. The CD is a digital format being played on a digital unit. If you can hear dynamics on a Muddy Waters CD, if you can hear dynamics on a White Stripes CD, that's a computer knowing that at the quiet parts it plays it quietly, at the loud parts it plays it loudly. Even though it's just replicating a recorded sound, there's still dynamics in the computer knowing where it has to be loud and soft.
Absolutely.
You saying about the processing power, you just made me remember something. The reason I got turned on to digital stuff was my friend had an Axifex 2, and I did some recording with him, expecting to go into the studio and using amps at uni and whatever, because I got a couple of Crawfords and whatever. He went, no, just come over to my place and we'll use the Axe. I was like, okay. And I remember at one point we got bored and we tried to overload the CPU by adding all these effects. We had something like a 30-second reverb, 2 ridiculous delays, some chorus, some phaser, everything for this like weird atmospheric intro sound. and it only got up to about 80% of the CPU power.
Yeah, no, it is incredible the amount of things it can process, because when you think about every single one of those effects can have so many huge amounts of programming behind it to create that in the digital realm. It's incredible.
It's just stupid. It's great.
So yeah, I've got to try and I'm in a housing transition, you might say, at the moment. So once I've got my gear, like on my Supro, my pedal board is at amp. My amp is at my work at the moment. So, and my buddy's got his Kemper. So when I get the Kemper off him, I'm going to profile my Supro for you and try and get that to you in a file.
Please do, please.
So so it's just I've been working on it, but at the moment I'm not living where I used to. You could say.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Once
so,
again,
yeah,
I
knew how to
legendary.
to do stuff on my X effects, and I used to do a bunch of the Tomy stuff on that. But I've got to figure out how to do the Kemper one, so I'll do that when I get this Kemper off him.
At this point, I'd like to point something out about how good Gav is, which is about 2 or 3 years ago at Christmas, on the old group we were all in.
Yeah.
I was posting about maybe buying a couple of pedals, because at that point I was just getting into the whole gear thing and looking at different pedals. And Gav commented on it. At this point, I don't think we actually knew each other or whatever.
No, I don't think so. No, that was
he just decided from New Zealand to England to send me 2 pedals just for free, no cost, not even for shipping. Just sent them to me on the condition of, if I ever got rid of them, just to pass them on for free, the same, which is what I've done since then. And
Oh, was it that crazy little drive pedal? There was like it almost looks kind of Marshall-esque.
It was a little it was
like an OCD clone or something.
It was an OCD clone and a Soul Food.
Oh, damn.
That's right. Yeah.
And just for nothing.
Yep.
So.
I've always been lucky. I've always kind of been in. People have always given me things, loaned me things. I've always been really good, so I just don't see the point that you should ever stop that kind of life, choice. Just share it, move it on. If you don't use it, give it to someone that would.
That OCD clone is amazing on bass. The bassist in my covers band back home uses it all the time when we play songs like Ace of Spades and whatever. Yeah, and he's had it for a few months now, and he absolutely loves it. I don't think I've ever seen him turn up to a gig, because he's got a couple of bands. Every picture of a gig, you just see this little silver box on the floor.
It's good to get to use. See, it was just sitting on my place, so, and I think I had 2 Soul Foods. So yeah.
Good man. Right, so I'm gonna steer us on, because I think I believe we're about like 25 minutes, maybe half an hour in, and we've barely got past Gav's intro. This is going to be a long one. It's fine. Right. So, what have we been doing this week? You've been talking about some more Kemper profiles, haven't you, Ole? So, what have you been looking at this week?
Oh, since I've finished uni for the next month, so I've actually, I've been working quite a bit, so I've got a bit of money now. So I've been buying profiles, like I mentioned earlier.
Yep.
I bought the AC/DC pack. I bought a Friedman Dirty Shirley pack, which was fantastic, and I found some more free profiles of it online.
Yeah.
An amazing amp.
I mean, there's a lot of love for the Friedman stuff in our group.
Yeah. But, so I've been trying some stuff like that. I keep meaning to get some more obscure stuff, some Fenders, some like old Tweed Fender stuff.
Yeah, I'll keep championing the low power Tweed packs for you.
Yeah, I might have to do. I might do that tonight. Actually, I'll check my bank account. If I can afford it, I will.
Cool. Remember, eating is always it's not a necessity.
I'm home for a month. I eat for free.
Pot noodles.
Pot noodles and good tone. That's all you need.
Yeah, that's what
I've eaten pot noodles in some of the best 5-star hotels in the world. So no shame in it.
No shame.
Good man.
So yeah, today. I was saying before we started, I've been messing around a bit more with delays and playing with effects and stuff.
Yeah.
So today I came across this just huge folder of, if you go on the Kemper forum, there's a guy and there's about 1,500 replies on it.
Yeah.
And it's basically, this guy has a B100 a Dirty Shirley, a small box, and something else. Yeah, but yeah. And people suggest settings to him.
Yeah.
And like different
and
things
he'll
to do.
profile it.
And he profiles it.
Good,
and
man.
someone's hosted like a little server, and it's got
Just
all these profiles of
Yeah.
all these things. And I've just been going through them for the last day or so, just picking out random ones and playing them.
And
And I've got this huge sounding B100 profile, and I just stuck loads of delay on it, loads of reverb on it, and started playing Dream Theater melodies and stuff like that.
I've got to say, you are very dedicated, because I know there's definitely a good proportion of the population at your age with an internet connection would not be looking for the greatest tone that they could ever find.
Yeah, I actually have a tab open at all times, which is the Kemper forum, and I check it 2 or 3 times a day to see what's on there.
It's an addiction, the digital world, I think, even more so than pedals. Like, because you have such instant access to things,
Yeah,
like I was the same. I was just continuously looking through and looking for presets for the acts, and downloading them, and especially because there's a lot of free user updated stuff, so you'd just be looking in the forum and seeing, and be like, for even bands that I don't even know or like, I'd be downloading country things. I'd be like, I just want it, I want to see what it's like, can I adapt it? So it's such an instant gratification, and such a I think in that way it's a really inspiring tool. Whereas I'd go and look at a tube app and be like, oh, if I just move my delay to the front, what am I going to do there?
yeah.
So
I have never played guitar quite as much as I have since owning the Kemper, because it's just, I'll just be sat on my computer at like midnight, and I was like, oh, there's a profile, download, plug it in, transfer it. How does this sound? And I'll just end up doing a practice session and playing a bunch of riffs on it.
yeah. Plus, I mean, they are the best headphone amps you can buy, hands down.
Yeah,
If anyone says, what's a good headphone amp, I just say buy Kemper and XFX.
yeah.
It's just nothing better.
That might be a little bit costly for someone looking for a headphone amp, but
I
That's
tracked
true, but
I tracked most of an EP through an Axe FX and headphones.
good man. So this week in guitar, I'm going to rush through mine because we've got so much to do. Essentially, didn't have the Egnator because I blew it up. Took my Jet City JCA 20 to practice, didn't blow that up. So I mean, I'm getting better.
I really like the Jet City stuff.
Yeah, no,
Really
it's-
nice.
I was using it as a clean bass, to be honest, and it sounded pretty epic.
Yeah.
We did a little recording actually. I've managed to unearth a little 2-track mixer,
Wee.
and I had just one Omni mic doing the room essentially, and then I had one for the vocals, and it didn't come out too badly actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's that. We dabbled with E flat tuning, and I had to set up my Ibanez Fireman to deal with E flat. It plays
love E-flat.
absolutely amazing now. But we're going to talk a bit more about setting up guitars in a moment. And I bought another Mojo.
Mojo.
That's the one. Or
Paris.
Gavin. Yep,
Mojo to the power of 6.
that's it. For the maths whiz. Yeah, I have got 3 Mojos now. So I mean, it's kind of toeing the line between a problem now, isn't it?
Yeah, we're gonna have to get
Stack them,
it.
or do they independent?
I've got them on different boards at the moment, but I might run them
I
into
thought if you
each
had the
other.
3 on the same board, that would be excessive.
Yeah, I mean it'll just be mid-range. There'd be nothing else.
Yeah.
Right, let's get onto some news because, like I say, I want to get onto the Gavtacular.
Oh, they got
The
yes.
Gavtacular. Right, so news. This week I happened upon a post by Moore Audio. They had a picture of the Tender Octave, saying that it will return or something along those lines, something vague. So for those who don't know what the Tender Octave was, it's essentially a very close replica to an EHX pedal, and the reason they had to stop production is because EHX started sniffing around it a little bit. So
Oh, I'm there. Sorry, I disappeared there for a second. Don't know what happened.
It's not a problem. So yeah, the EHX, the EHX tender active.
Nice.
So yeah, Moore have found a way around it and looking to release that again. So yeah, it's something that's quite interesting because the tender actives go for a fair bit of money considering they are Moore pedals on the used market.
But you look at the pedal they are very closely designed after.
Yeah.
That's also stupid for what it is.
Yeah, definitely. I think they're actually going more on the Moore ones are going more on the used market than they were new, which is something quite unreal, isn't it?
Well, the soul food did that. People were selling secondhand soul foods for more than you could buy a new soul food for in the shop in the same month of them being released.
Really?
It was ridiculous. Yeah, people were selling them for like £30 more because everyone was talking about them. And it was kind of, you could still go to the store, but everyone just had this weird. There
was a weird buzz around it for probably about 4 months, weren't there?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
that's what pedal companies need nowadays because they're all fighting in the same market. So they're
everyone's doing Tube Screamer clones and clones.
Exactly, and now everyone's doing either reverb clones the same as DD, the RV5s, or the people are really running out of new ideas.
Yeah,
there is one reverb pedal though, and I think it's owned by Mr. Baton or Master Baton, if you want to call him that. And it's the
Saucy
Mojo hand effects.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Maybe you should get one of those as well. I mean, it has got Mojo in the title.
Yeah, I think it's called the Dewdrop.
The Dewdrop
pedal, and it's a spring reverb, and there's actually a spring. I think there's a spring inside it.
Interesting.
And he brought it to Steve's back in February.
And
it was the best reverb I've ever heard. That might have had something to do with the custom shop their strats and the Friedman amps and that. But the reverb itself was
holding its own amongst the crowd.
For a little normal size pedal, I think it costs about 100 and some. I think it's just under £200.
Oh, it falls out of my remit then.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
Indeed. Right, moving on. Sir. Tell me what Sir. Someone tell me what Sir have done.
They decided to repaint a bunch of guitars they couldn't sell.
That's a nitro covered paint or something, isn't it? I saw that. Yeah.
Thanks, Gav, for bringing it back to normality.
Yeah. It's an old practice, but everyone seems to be really weird on all of a sudden. Like Fender did it for years, and that's how guitars were made. But now, because I think it's the relic thing, and people are making a point of the fact that for years it was hidden. I think that's why people are getting angry about it.
There's a bit of a backlash about Sir doing it themselves because it made sense Fender doing it because there was history for it.
Yeah. If it's not an homage, then it's just weird to do something you never did in your own history because you're only 10 or 20 years old.
But then the argument is that, Sir instruments are very much taking the inspiration from already...
The original,
yeah, the originals,
So it's an homage to the original Fenders, but it sort of screams of we've run out of other things to do, so what can we do to make a new edition this year?
Yeah.
Or we're going to do the Fender style paint job because you're paying for the hours of two different paint jobs, 90% of one of them you never see, and then you're paying for someone to rub the crap out of the one you do see. So it's kind of, to me it's like, well, yeah, and I bet you're paying a lot of top dollar for it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to check the price, because I know the price of the other ones. They're about the same price as
the Fenders.
As a normal Sir.
Oh, okay.
In fact, they are on the low end of the other price because I think they're about about 2,200.
It's because you're only getting half a paint job, isn't it? I mean, they're rubbing half of it off.
You're getting almost 1.5 paint jobs.
Yeah, so it's like
so they should reasonably be.
So if you look at like 2,200 for the limited ones, because there's some like limited to 200 per color.
Yeah, I heard that it was a very limited run.
That most Suhr guitars, from what I'm looking online, go from between about $2,000 to upwards of $5,000. So they're at the lower end of the Suhr pricing.
I mean, maybe for Suhr they're being smart. Maybe it is old stock bodies they had in Nitro that they are trying to basically reinvigorate. But if it's not an original, they're painting from scratch. Maybe they've just got 200 left and they're going, well, we'll repaint them and then sell them as this. But because it does seem really weird to sell that amount of effort in a guitar to sell it for the same price. But if they are just knocking out old bodies, it would make sense.
It might be them looking towards giving the customers a bit more value for money.
Yeah. Bit of extra
Who knows? I mean, they might be going
it's
in
not like guitar companies
in a budget-friendly option.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'll start reviewing them. So yeah, I mean that's what Suhr are doing. Snapshot opinions. What do we think?
On a new guitar company, yeah, I wouldn't buy it myself.
I can see where they're coming from with the whole Fender history, because they're like Strat shaped and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Not for me personally, no.
No, I think there's a lot more a lot of price upon those Suhr guitars as is. I don't think I'll be buying one anytime soon, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't see the point in knowing there was a second paint job under there, knowingly that was only showing 10% of it. It just seems pointless. I would just buy a guitar that was one color already, or just a relic, same color.
And the fact that the relic is only on the valve, whereas the rest of it is like perfect condition, but the relicing is just in like one area of the guitar.
Yeah,
they'd have relicked a little bit other places. I might have considered it a bit more, but it's a bit weird.
Yep. Right, so we are going to kick off with the Gavtacular now. We're going to kick off with our
There's so much pressure now.
Our feature. Yeah, no pressure, Gavin, but
no pressure, Gavin.
This feature's named after you, so. Right, so this is where you get 15 minutes each topic.
Okay.
On your own. Okay, so I mean, there were a couple of topics that you'd suggested in our little group chat before this.
About 100.
Yeah, a few is being generous there. You again, it's a list of questions about the size of your CV.
I'm gonna count the amount of topics you came up with.
Okay, you do that, Ollie. We're gonna kick it off. So live music and where it's going. Thoughts and opinions, Mr. Downey.
The live music industry, from working within it, what I've noticed over the past few years is there's now a larger number of, there's a smaller number of small companies touring and producing acts, and there's the larger companies like Live Nation are buying up a lot of the small promoters in each area in each city, because in every genre as well, because they can basically capitalize on the market. So what it's meant for a lot of places and towns, we're getting a lot more bands touring a lot more these days, so you find a lot more bands on the road. If you're signed on to one of those majors, you're guaranteed a bit more of an income than if you're independently trying to tour. The same as people would have said about signing to a major record label versus signing to an independent. But what it's also meaning is it's sometimes harder for smaller acts and touring acts to try and break into markets or venues that are closely linked with some of these bigger companies.
Okay.
And what it's meaning for the grand scheme is there's artists who are now signing directly to touring companies for global touring sort of territory sign-off deals. And because Live Nation understands that companies like Live Nation, I think it's AEG is the other big one, understand that, music and the commercial radio and even non-commercial can be quite fickle. They're touring bands really early on. So I notice now in New Zealand and Australia, we're getting bands touring down here really early on in their careers, in the first year, whereas in the past it used to take some bands a lot longer to get the funding and the ability to move around, the world. They would just stick to major cities. So I've definitely seen a shift in how the touring machine works, and where money is being spent for artists rather than spending a lot of money on CD promotions and, give all that kind of like record side. It's all going towards live touring.
All the lot,
The CD has gone back to being how it was in the 50s, where it's basically just a promotional giveaway. Artists know now they don't make any money on record sales.
Yeah.
They make nothing on streaming. So they're basically geared towards touring, and then the offshoot money off that was merchandising, which most of the time now the record label or, your touring company will take a 360 deal, which means that they have a share of your merchandise as well. But when you're looking at these big acts that can sell a t-shirt and a hoodie or, a sweatshirt or, any number of merchandise items to a fan, they can generate a lot of income off that. So, the music industry is all touring nowadays, and it's getting tougher and tougher to tour and make money because of the cost is so high. Just the cost of filling. If it's starting at the ground roots level, if you're a covers band and you're going to play in the same city or the next city over, it's more expensive today to fill up your car on petrol than it was 5 years ago. It's more expensive to buy a packet of strings. It's more expensive everything. So to generate revenue, people are having to be a lot more astute business wise, because everyone's competing for that same crowd, and that's what's even getting tougher everywhere. Is there's so many artists on the road now that in any city anywhere in the world, within 1 week you could be the option to seeing 5 to 7 nights a week of top artists you want to see. So it's a tough marketplace to be getting into, but it's I think if you do your research as a band and look where your strengths are and where your market is, there's still space to tap into, and trying to work your way up into getting your name known to those larger companies.
So there's kind of two questions that that little bit of conversations brought up from me. The kind of decline in the importance of the CD and the kind of the sales of the media. Why do you think that is? Do you think it might have something to do with recording, or good quality recording, being so accessible and so readily available?
No, I just think the format that's just changed. I mean, it's if you look at music as an art form, this is very big and deep, but if you look at artists, what the thing musicians are doing now with the whole crowdsourcing, crowdfunding, is nothing new. Classical musicians did that in the 1700s. Mozart, Brahms, all those people would basically have to get a benefactor or a city or a town or a government in that place to give them money so they could write an operetta or a music piece that would be put on in their theatre. So they would basically crowdsource their art form back then. But then we kind of got to a point where music became a sellable item back in the sort of 30s, 40s, 50s. People invented easily accessible record players. Everyone could have one of those in their home. You didn't just have to have a piano and buy a piece of sheet music. You could have the pre-recorded format. So it became monetized like everything else. And in that period, no one really knew that you couldn't sell enough records to make money. Most records would go to radio stations or would be giveaways to kids at concerts. But if you got your kids to your local hall to see the band, you would generate revenue. People would get paid. Then we got into a point where technology got so exponentially great that everyone could start carrying cassette Walkmans everywhere, and that revolutionized music. Suddenly you could take music with you on the road as you went to work, on the bus, wherever, and that changed how we thought about music. We could carry it everywhere. It wasn't something we had to listen to at home or listen to a radio that we had no choosing what was being played. So that was that big step into, now we can offer people exactly the music they want. So people flooded the market with cassettes and singles. And I mean, remember singles? A cassette with one song on it was crazy. And then, that changed into the CD market, which changed into the iPod market, the MP3 player market, which tried to transition into the high audio quality player market, which didn't really work at all. And has now basically been dropped overnight without anyone deciding to becoming streaming. Whereas now you've basically kind of got all of the past history together, you're now creating your own radio stations, but with music that's you're not even having to own. And even me personally, I thought no one's ever going to not want to have a CD or a stream or buy even the download MP3, but it's just totally makes sense for people that don't have to worry about even researching. You can just pick one band you like on a site like Spotify and make a radio station out of it. So it's, in some ways it's really lazy, but that's where people have got to. I don't think people want to spend time in the morning to make a playlist anymore, whereas I used to love doing that. If I was doing a drive to another city, I'd sit up all night making a playlist. Even though I would listen to 1 second of every song as I made it, I would know what it was on there, but it was exciting. And that's where it changed. And now people, the idea of CD sales is no longer important, because let's be honest, having been signed to a lot of record deals, you make no money on CDs. Bands make no money at all. The whole record deal is such a scam. How record companies work is they advance you all this money to make the CD and to do the artwork and do promotion. That comes out of your profit of the CD, not of the record companies. So you pay for your own promotion, you pay for your own recording. Then once you've recouped all that money back, what record companies do is, as soon as you're about to make money again, they do things like, we're going to re-release the CD with a few extra tracks, we're going to do a new promotion and do this, and they just continuously keep you in debt, so you never you never make any money back. It's a common practice for big record labels to do this, whereas they still make all the money on the reissue, but you're still paying back the reason that they're redoing it with 2 bonus songs or a DVD feature or a live recording somewhere. The record companies just do that so they keep you in debt. Otherwise, they would have to start paying out their percentage of the money, and their percentage is huge compared. I think the artist makes about maybe 12% or something out of a CD sale. So the record label is making all the rest up, and you're continuously paying back recoupments and advancements and things. There's only very few people that would make the amount of returns on CDs that people think is huge money. They'll make a lot of money off their publishing deals, which is still relevant, and live returns. So by people losing the whole CD market, musicians haven't really been any worse off. It doesn't affect the small players. It doesn't affect the big players. Beyonce can still tour and make millions of dollars on tour. U2 can still make millions of dollars on tour. They're not losing a big amount on the CD thing. They are losing on the streaming service, and that's the scary part of the world that musicians and management are trying to deal with, and no one has an answer yet to that. But the streaming services are losing money as well. So
it's a really eye-opening look into the industry.
I remember at uni they were telling us Spotify are literally losing millions every year.
Billions. Spotify are about $2 billion in debt or something, I think.
That's right. Spotify have never made any money.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
But it's like any kind of digital company. You can basically sell shares in something even though you have nothing. You know, because if you look at it, Spotify has a meta database of users that is in the millions and millions.
Yeah,
I couldn't even quantify that. That information of all that data is worth something to someone, so they can keep running. They can have shareholders that see it in some value, even though at the end of the day, it's such a bizarre model of a business.
Yeah.
But that's where business is nowadays.
It should technically be worthless.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, that's like, I used to teach at the School of Audio Engineering here, and one of the main things I taught to people about doing bands, festivals, setting up things is the most important and most valuable item you can get, even after, the $20 of the ticket sale or the $10 for the t-shirt, is getting someone's email address. So the best way to do that is, gather to, if you've got a merch table at one of your gigs, put down a piece of paper. So if you buy a t-shirt like the band, write down your email address. That's a great way to do it. That's really simple. But another really good way is like net marketing, which is, if you've got a band Facebook or a website, you can say, look, download this song for free. And what it means is, when you go to click the download, you put in your email address, then you get the free link, and then you build up a database, which means when you need to go on tour, or you want to sell a new single, or you've come out with a new t-shirt design, you can directly market your fans who already like you or still like you. Whereas you're not just doing the shotgun approach of trying to just put a Facebook out and seeing how many people get to your page. And that in today, I know this seems like a weird tangent, but that in today's digital business is what is worth the money. It's not the actual artifact. It's It's the database of all the people that Spotify can hit. So when someone, say like Toyota, launches a new car for the 18 to 30 market, they can go to Spotify and know that if they put an ad on their radio station, they're going to hit $1.6 million every hour, because they've got that database on that radio station that plays that 90s music or that 2000s music to that age. Digital world now is all about users and the amount of information you can carry about it. That's why Facebook and those companies are worth so much money, because they don't actually have any hardware, they don't have any programming they do themselves. It's just the fact that they have everyone's email addresses and everyone's contact information, and at any point in the day, advertising companies can advertise direct to you on your page. So
yeah, I must admit, I've seen more and more of that these days, and the
well, that's what it is, and that's what you've got to look at fine print when you sign things, because I mean, no one ever reads the terms and conditions of anything ever. No one does. There's a South Park episode on the joke about it, but you know, it's true. When you click terms and conditions, yes, it's like you're not knowing that Facebook is going to give all of your information to an advertising company, who then gives it to someone else, so they can follow you, and they know that if this week you were going to buy guitar strings and you went searching for the cheapest guitar strings, now your Facebook page is continuously advertising guitar products to you, because they've got an algorithm that knows what you're looking for, so they preempt it. So it's in some ways it's kind of scary, in some ways it's good for the lazy consumer that doesn't want to leave the laptop, but that's what's worth the billions, you know. It's knowing exactly.
You saying about the email thing is I do something like that for my friend's band. I've done it a couple of times for them, where they'll play a gig or they'll play an open mic night or something, and they'll hand me a clipboard with a piece of paper on, and they go, if you see someone who looks like they're enjoying the music, see if they'll give us their email for songs or whatever. I've done that. I did that, about a month ago. I help them as much as I can. I just do whatever for them. Just literally just walking around this pub with a clipboard and a pen. Just looking for poor sods who were enjoying themselves. Like, where are you?
You know, and once you've got that direct access to someone, it's great, because, like I said, you know, you can direct market to them. That's why, you know, sites like Bandcamp are really good on that. You know, you can follow an artist, follow a band, and then you'll get updates and notifications of, hey, this people have recorded something, they're doing something. You know, you're getting instant connection and news from that artist. So. And that, in today's world, is what's money. You know, look at the touring companies have now, you know, you can sign up to be VIP kind of members, and they will update you with all of the happenings of town gigs coming to your city, and then they can upsell a ticket. So instead of just going to see, I don't know, say, you know, Beyonce or Jay-Z or, you know, AC/DC, you can spend an extra £200 to go to a VIP meet and greet or something, and that's, you know, and the artists are doing more and more of those these days, because it's more money for them.
Yeah, and all they have to do is show their face and shake a couple of hands.
Not even that. There's the Guns N' Roses tour had a VIP upgrade where you walked around the stage with the production manager, and you got to see basically how it was. You basically got to see them post sound check. You didn't meet the band, you didn't do anything. You just got to walk on stage and look at the gear close up, and that was an extra £150 or something.
I think it's more money better, isn't it?
Or was it more? There was another one which was, I think it was Rihanna or Beyonce, where you got your photo taken with a cardboard cutout. Yeah, it's true. Actually, people got their photo taken with a cardboard cutout as a VIP package.
Yeah, the common one is you get a lanyard.
Yeah.
You get a photo with the band, and you're with them for about a minute each.
Yeah.
And then you get a tour backstage, and then it's like, right, go on, in with the rest of the crowd.
The best one I've seen so far easily was the Tool VIP package, because you could buy a guitar VIP package or a bass VIP package, and you would go into this room at the back of the arena, and there would be a guitar rig set up, and I think it's Adam Jones, the guitarist for Tool.
I think so.
He would go through setting up tones for how he got different songs on the records. So people would ask him, you know, how did you get that sound for Sober? He'd be like, okay, I'd turn this drive off, I'd run this in, and he would basically have his whole rig, and he would go through one-on-one how he would get different tones. And for me, I thought that is so smart. Like, there was people who were just hardcore guitar people that just wanted to listen and talk to him, and it was a really good open kind of way of doing that, and it just felt a lot more genuine than just the usual cash cow of, you know, we're just going to basically give you a gold laminate and walk you around the place and point out things.
Yeah, that's proper fan service, that, isn't it, rather than the cardboard cut out of Rihanna.
You saying about him going into a room and talking through tone one by one reminded me of. I went to a masterclass, which was Mark Holcomb from Periphery.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of last year, it was run by Andertons. And at the end of it, he turned around and went, if anyone wants to play through the acts, whatever, just, jump up on stage at the end and just have a go. The Andertons guy will help you.
Wow.
And he had two guitars. He had an Axe Effects and the Power amp. He basically used the power section of a PRS Archon into a PRS 412. And he used that as setup. And he had one of his SE models and one of the custom 7-strings. There's only about 3 of them in existence. And he had it just left on a bar stool. And me and my friend were sat front row and we're like, if that's because it was at an angle, it was at like a 20-30 degree angle. And it was like, if that even shows any sign of falling, I'm jumping on that stage and I'm going to catch it. But he was such a nice guy. He was like, yeah, if you just want to, come up and play through the songs. And he was talking through their noise gate settings, like for different stuff. So it's like, yeah, we use noise gates on everything, ranging from the clean stuff, which has a slight noise gate, to when they're doing the stupid rhythmic stuff.
Yeah,
like the
noise gates. Yeah.
I was trying to avoid using that word, but
it's a good word. It's the only word that kind of describes it.
But when they're doing like the gent sections with the polyrhythms and crazy technical stuff,
it's all about the rhythm, isn't it? And any sloppiness, any kind of
Well, here's the thing: the noise gate on it was that hard, that it detuned the guitar signal.
Wow.
So they were playing riffs, and literally the opening, like, you got the initial attack, and that was it. The rest of the note was cut off. So they don't even have to be that tight, because it was detuning. And he was playing like some of the complex riffs, like songs. So he used that noise gate and played riffs from songs like Scarlet and The Way the News Goes, which are quite intricate riffs, and they have a lot of notes ringing out. And he just put on this stupid noise gate and was playing these riffs, and they just sounded ridiculous. And he was just laughing as he played it. It was hilarious. He was just talking through his gear, and he was just like, oh yeah, this is a noise gate. It's stupid. We all use it.
It's a tool. I think it's a tool rather than an effect. Yeah.
Speaking of tools, let's move on to our next segment.
Speaking of tools,
that was a good segue. Come on.
Okay.
Right. So we've got toolkits for Giga Musician. So let's have a talk about your kind of your average kind of starting out band. What would they need as a Giga Musician? What's their absolute must-haves?
I think a good way to do it that I've always kind of tried to tell people is, instead of if you're in a band and say like one guitarist, 2 guitarists, a bass player, we won't count drummers because drummers are a particular kind of set of tools needed. But you don't all need to buy the same things. If you know, one guitarist might want to buy a set of small kind of those jeweler's size screwdrivers. The bass player might want to buy a set of Allen keys. The other guitarist might want to buy maybe a string winder or kind of one of those cheap multi-tools, if you want to do it that way. I think hands down, if it was me personally, buying nowadays on the market, you can buy those kind of good multi-tool plier things from pretty much almost any hardware shop, and they range from probably about £10 to the expensive Leatherman Gerber ones, which are normally around about £100 or something. But they all generally do the same thing. If you've got one of those multi-tools, it's those silver things. It's got needle nose pliers on it, and it's got like a knife, and it might have a
bit like a Swiss Army knife with
it's like a Swiss Army knife even. One of those is essential, I think, in a guitar case, because if you look at your guitar, the best thing you can do when you think about a toolkit is hold your guitar up the front of it and the back of it, and look at all of the things that either screw in or basically should be tight. It'll have small Phillips head screws for your humbuckers to raise and lower those heights. It'll generally have flat head or Phillips head screws for the pickup surrounds. There'll be a Phillips head screws on the scratch plate or input socket. Now all of those will come loose at some point, so a good kind of size Phillips head screw that fits. If it's too small, it'll burr. If it's too big, it'll burr, which means it'll change. It'll distort the metal and it'll wear it out.
Yeah, burr a hole
So
in it.
one good multi-tool can almost fix everything on a guitar, even down to chopping ends off your strings or chopping strings off if you've got to change them. I've done shows where I've purposely left a toolkit at home and just flown with a Leatherman multi-tool and seen if I could get through a whole show, and I have, and I've been like, I've been killing my back for years carrying stuff, but so a cheap multi-tool is a perfect way to go. The other next really handy tool to have is a set of Allen keys. Ideally, the Allen key that fits your guitar nut, if it's an Allen key socket. If it's a Gibson or a Gretsch, I think they will have like a nut on the end, which means you'll need to buy it's like a socket. But you can get those from most guitar shops. If you don't have one that came with your guitar,
they come in the cases these days. I'm pretty sure.
If you buy a new one, but if you're picking up a second-hand guitar, like a lot of people are, normally the first thing people lose is Allen keys. So it's really important to look at where your guitar was made, because if it was made in America, it'll be an imperial size. If it's in Asia, it'll be a metric size. And if you put the wrong one in the wrong hole, it's all kinds of trouble.
Yeah, you're buggering up the hole, yeah.
Yeah. So
you both beat Adam to that one. Adam didn't react to that one.
So a multi-tool and the right Allen key to change your neck is essential, and pretty much with those you can get through a decent amount of touring on that. If you're getting into if one really essential tool I would say is absolutely amazing, and the one tool that I ended up in an argument on the other forum that I removed myself from about is ESP make a guitar multi-tool, and it's like, I don't even know if I've got one handy. It's like about the size of a credit card, maybe. Actually, and it's got two cutouts inside at the ends. Now, if you give me 32 seconds, I'll go grab one. Stay there. I'll show you. It'll be easy.
Right, I will add to it at this point. For me, if every member of the band, say your two guitarists and your bassist, bring a spare lead as well.
Oh yeah, always.
That gives you spare leads, and also
strings.
A 4-way socket.
This is my touring box of tricks, so it's in here somewhere.
So no one else is going to be able to see this apart from us three.
But it's easy for me to describe to you, so in future point, I can tell you what I'm doing.
Some sort of is that snake skin on the outside and leopard print inside?
Yep. This is what you tool with. So just for people that don't see this, but this is a fold-out workbench.
I can't see it. I've turned off my cameras for latency issues.
I'll post some pictures on the page. But yeah, the tool.
Speaking of the page, Gavin, there's it's Fret Talk podcast, which is the kind of frontward facing Facebook page for the podcast.
Right.
So we're going to get you on that, and you are going to post a picture of this.
Yeah. So this tool, which I'll post a picture of, is made by ESP. I think it's the only thing they make that's in the guitar tool realm, and it's very bizarre in the fact that it's designed for tightening and loosening nuts on your guitar of any size. So it has a flat side and teeth down the inside of a V cut. So depending on whether you're rotating to tighten or loosen, it grabs that side of the nut. It's so tiny you can fit it into a gig bag, into the inside of any guitar kit, and that will save you carrying a bunch of spanners, a bunch of different things. And at the same time, a lot of guitars tend to, if they've got the threaded ferrules at the machine heads, they loosen a lot after you've moved a guitar around a lot, and trying to get a spanner into there while the string's on is impossible. But these fit. I'll take a picture of this as well and put it on the page. You can fit these under your strings while the guitar is still strung, and grab that nut on the machine head and tighten it. So that is a lifesaver in itself, because the last thing you want to have to do at a gig or pre-gig is take strings off or do things to get or fix certain parts of your guitar. If you're in a hurry, like if it suddenly is loosening and you need a tool that you can just get to, fix it, get your gig still going or get on perfect. So a multi-tool, and one of these I think is absolutely essential. But everyone should have one in their guitar kit, and that will basically an Allen key multi-tool. And this, you'll be able to do anything on the road for yeah, for most of your career, I would say.
So I think this little segment has been worth it just for the fact that you've said grabbing nuts about 8 times.
Got to be grabbing.
Gotta love it.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we're gonna have to leave the Gavtacular there for this week, but we are gonna get you back on. We're gonna.
There was 36 topics he suggested.
Wow, I've got to come up with another 60, 64.
I mean that
9
ensures,
hours worth of content. At
it
15
future-proofs
minutes
you,
each.
doesn't it, Gavin? It future-proofs you. I mean, you are guaranteed on this
Yeah.
podcast at least another.
We could do like a 24-hour telethon, a Gavathon.
Yeah.
We'll raise money for like squirrel rehoming or something, and do non-stop guitar topics with phone-ins.
The Gavtacular Ultimato.
Yeah. See how much espresso I can drink and stay awake for 24 hours.
We'll just fly one of us over and they'll just slap you gently around the face.
Yeah, there you go.
With one of those ESP multi-tools.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, nut grabbing.
Grab your nuts.
Right, so I reckon we're gonna end up with one question, and I'm gonna leave it to you two because this is gonna be a democracy now. Do you want the phaser question or do you want the gear that got away?
Gear that got away.
Gav?
Either. The phaser question I will answer in 30 seconds. If you look on AliExpress, there's a really good Joyo vintage phaser. It's about $30, $40 and they're amazing.
I use that. However, it does not qualify.
Does not qualify? Okay.
It doesn't qualify.
Secondhand.
I'll tell you what.
Secondhand Script 90.
We'll do the phaser. We'll do the phaser. And we'll come back to the gear that got away. On another episode.
You could try one of the DIY websites. There's quite a few of the DIY websites build the pedals for you for an extra 20 or 30 quid.
Yeah.
So then it comes to about 70 odd.
This is where you need to let me ask the bloody question.
No.
Because guessing means that you won't get it bang on. And this is why the Joyo doesn't fit. And it would be my suggestion as well because I've got one and it's absolutely wicked. It needs to be kind of budget friendly, so underneath 100 quid, but it also needs to do subtle, which the Joyo does not do. It's a Phase 90 clone, I believe, and you get varying degrees of wob. So it doesn't quite do subtle. So something maybe with a mixed knob or something with more than 2 knobs, so you can kind of dial it back a little. It's mainly for clean stuff, for giving a bit of kind of ambience to the clean. Go for it, Ollie.
TC Electronic Blood Moon Phaser.
Okay.
From that series they did where they released the load of pedals.
The Behringer, not Behringer.
Series. It has rate, depth, and feedback.
Okay, that's a good shout. That is a good shout. Gav?
I would look in the second hand and on Reverb.
Hang on, you're going robot.
Yeah.
Start again.
I think he's gone.
Oh no.
No.
Oh, we've lost Gav. Right, I'll do mine. The ones that I suggested, because it is my friend who actually asked this. There's a company called, I believe it's called Valaton.
No idea.
They do a phaser. I put it into GAC and typed in phaser and looked what was available. So there was a company called Valaton did one for about 50 quid, and it had so many settings on it. I mean, there was a knob that changed the type of phaser, so the type of phasing that it does, and the product video for it came up with some pretty subtle sounds to some pretty wacky ones. So that was a good shout for me. I'm always going to fall back onto TC as well.
Yeah, Tone City as well. That's another TC. Tone City.
Tone City, yeah.
It's
not the Angel Wing, is it? The Angel Wing's the chorus.
Summer Orange is it's
Summer
called.
Orange. And how many knobs does that have?
3.
Okay, cool.
That's another rate, feedback, depth, and that's £40.
Ooh, it's hard to beat that, isn't it? Hard to beat that.
Yeah.
We did have our chap in our group, Andy Smith of Honey Boy Amps.
Yeah.
He this week talked about his tape machine, his Tone City tape machine that started to sound like there was a snake living within the circuitry. It developed such a poor hiss that he ended up getting a Moore and an Echo.
Yeah, Josh has used Tone City quite a bit though. He's used the bigger,
the Model M. He's got the Model B, which I borrowed for my Instagram channel, which it was good. I mean, I liked it.
Yeah. We've had good and bad experiences.
Yeah, I imagine it's just it's a little bit of quality control slip the net there.
But for £40,
I mean it's hardly anything.
But for an extra £5.
I was going to suggest the Helix phaser.
Helix.
I think that comes in just over budget, but I mean it's
95 at Anderton's.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's cool then. I've got one. It's really versatile.
You got the big one and the little one.
There's a little one?
I think there is.
No, they don't do the Helix or the Viscous 5 Mini yet. When they do, I'll be all up on that.
How are they not? I would have thought that would have been the first one they went mini with.
No. With the Phase 95 out now, they probably will.
The Phase 95, if it was a bit cheaper, that would be a great shout because that's 115. But it's got one knob, but it's got a few different switches and stuff on it.
Yeah, it's got the 45 and it's got the script, but because of the one knob, it might not do subtle again. Right, yeah. So that's our questions. Unfortunately, we've lost Gav.
No.
So a quick salute and hats off to Gav for his absolutely immense.
Yes.
Just kind of look into the actual professional side of the music industry,
rather than us two.
Yeah, well, we'll get him back on it at some point and just pick his brains again. He's an absolute, just a legendary guy as well. He's just so nice, such a nice chap, and it's been wonderful to have him on. So I'm going to wrap it up with our shout outs to Facebook.com and Instagram Budget Pedal Chap. You can find me there. I'm posting quite a lot recently. I mean it's all good fun, and you'll find me on the Facebook group as well, which is Fret Talk Podcast. So I mean, that's our forward facing podcast group. So I mean, if you want to get your questions read out on the podcast, if you want to force any news articles or anything in the guitar community through, that is the best place to do it, because we will definitely listen. Ollie, you've got your Facebook.
Yeah, I'm also going to, as I mentioned earlier, I do quite a bit for my friend's band.
Yep.
So I'm going to mention their band today. They're a blues rock 3-piece, great band.
Fantastic.
I probably should have said this last time I was on, because they're in a competition at the moment and the voting closes in about an hour from now.
As good as I am, I don't think I'm going to put the podcast up.
Well, I should have done it last time.
Yeah.
But, they're a great band. They're called Sunhouse, and they've got Facebook, which is facebook.com/SunhouseOfficial.
Yeah.
Great guys, great 3-piece blues rock thing, female fronted.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
What does she play? Is she guitar, bass, drums?
Bass.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool. You will have to remind me to put that into the show notes.
Will do.
So yeah, if it doesn't appear, because I think the upload's got to be on Monday. So if it doesn't appear on Monday in the show notes, I can amend that one. And we've got facebook.com/Ollie Miles Music as well to find you.
Yay!
And that is us for this week. Don't forget.
Oh, he's back!
I'm back!
Well, hey!
I don't know. My computer died.
Not a problem. We're doing our kind of outro and shout outs now. We have very much kind of
run over time.
Yeah, exactly. We've run over time pretty much as per usual. But we've given our congratulations to you and fanfares to your awesome knowledge. Is there anything that you want to promote while you're here?
Just world peace and loving each other.
I mean, that's always wicked. Have you got a Facebook for world peace and loving each other, or?
No.
No.
Yeah, on a slightly serious note, I think we've had some discussions in the group recently about things, and I think it's really important to keep an eye on your own mental health. And if this is a really tough industry to be in, and it's a tough industry to try and make a career out of, and every day is not going to be easy. So if you're feeling that things are becoming a struggle, or just talk to someone, reach out. The musical world is full of nice people most of the time, so it's important to look out for our fellow bandmates, our fellow musicians, our people on our groups. So I think that's important.
Absolutely, definitely. I know the Guitar Geek, Andy, had mentioned a couple of places that you can get information on that as well. I can't remember the organisations that do it, but I mean, from what my experience is, GPs are always really, really helpful, and they can put you in contact with people, and also your friends and your kind of family can work as a really good support group as well.
I second GPs.
So
yeah, I mean, there's a certain thing which people are just starting to realize now, is that as nice as it is for your friends to kind of say, think about the good times, to think about things will get better easier. For some people, depression and the mental health state is more of a chemical thing inside of their brain.
Oh yeah.
And it's in New Zealand. I know New Zealand, we've had a lot of discussion on it recently, but around the world it's starting to come up that it's a very fragile industry for a lot of people. A lot of people who are already quite prone to some of these depressive states are drawn to the music industry because they find it's a way to let out their emotions. So I think it's something, we're becoming better at looking at it, but we know now through a lot of studies that the suicide rate in the music industry is the worst above any other industry. So it's just a good time to remind each other that we're all here for each other, and seek some help. And then if you hear of someone that's gone through it, talk to them about the best ways to get about getting stuff right in your head.
We've already lost 2 legends recently. We don't need to lose any more.
Exactly. It's becoming so much more. It's good, but it's being more talked about. But it's dangerous. It's really high levels, and I know through personal experiences, I suffer depression, and I take medication for it because it's something that I can't just think about a good day to get over. So it helps me, and I know other people that I've spoken to that have heard about my story. I'm kind of more than willing to talk to people and go, there are times you need to go and see a doctor, or seek further medical help. So
I think it's very brave of you to put yourself out there like that, Gav. I know there's a stigma that still kind of hangs around mental health.
Yeah, but it's slow. It's chipping away really fast now. I think it is. But especially when you're looking at major stars like Kurt Cobain, not Kurt Cobain, like Chester Bennington, Chris Cornell. There's a lot of suicides now, and it's really. It's a dangerous thing. A couple
of years back as well, Robin Williams.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I mean, it is coming out, but I mean, it takes that work from the people who are living it. So any chance I get to promote anything, that's the first thing I try and tell people. It's like, let's make sure that we all keep an eye on each other, and that we do, accept and understand our own, fragility and our frailty, and know when it's right to seek help. Yep. And on that note, we are going to wrap up the show.
Yep.
So I mean, from me, from Gavin, and from Ollie, I hope to hear from you again soon. We're gonna be back again next week with some top quality guitar banter.
Not as good as this episode, though, right?
No, I think we've peaked probably 6 episodes in.
No, sure to be better. This is lots of rambling.
Yeah,
the sequel to the Dream Team.
So
okay,
that's it. That's us for today then. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.